In Indonesia's booming digital economy, AI is absolutely everywhere. It's the engine that's supposed to be powering financial services, making faster, smarter credit decisions. But what if that same engine, the one you built for peak efficiency, is quietly creating a whole new kind of digital divide? Well, it's a hidden risk for sure, but it's also a massive market opportunity if you just know where to look. Let's dive in. So let's just cut right to the chase. This is the one question that every risk officer, every CEO in Indonesian finance really needs to be asking themselves right now. Is our technology accidentally leaving millions of perfectly good customers behind? And look, this isn't some academic exercise. This is a critical and potentially very expensive business vulnerability. We've actually got a name for this problem: algorithmic regionalism. Now, it sounds a little technical, but it's a really subtle yet powerful force that could be tanking your expansion plans, and maybe more importantly, exposing you to some serious regulatory heat. So let's get crystal clear on what we're actually talking about. Now, the most important word on this entire slide is inadvertently. This isn't about someone programming a model to be biased. No way. Algorithmic regionalism is a systemic flaw. It's what happens when your AI, which is just trying to learn from historical data, starts to associate geography with risk. The result? It systematically penalizes applicants from outside the major hubs, like the greater Jakarta area. And the impact of this is incredibly direct, and frankly, very costly. That model you trust to be objective and efficient, it could be automatically saying no to perfectly creditworthy customers in some of the fastest growing areas in the whole country. We're talking about places like Medan, Surabaya, and even the future capital, IKN. This isn't just some abstract fairness issue. This is a straight-up loss of a massive market opportunity. So you can see how this creates a classic double-edged sword for pretty much every financial institution out there. On one side, you've got some very real compliance risks, but on the other, you've got a multi-billion rupiah market that's just sitting there, waiting to be unlocked. Let's take a closer look at both sides of that blade, starting with the scary part, the risk. First off, the risk. You have to understand Indonesian regulators are not sleeping on this. The Financial Services Authority, OJK, has Regulation 1/2026, which demands rigorous IT risk management. Then there's the Personal Data Protection Act, or UU PDP, which literally gives citizens the legal right to challenge automated decisions. Even the Ministry of Communication has guidelines on AI inclusivity. So ignoring this isn't just bad business, it's a direct compliance threat. So it all boils down to a strategic choice. You're at a crossroads. Down one path, you've got the risk: fines, legal battles, and a serious loss of trust with investors who are paying very close attention to responsible AI and ESG metrics. But down the other path, that's the opportunity: a huge, underserved market in the outer islands, a base of loyal new customers, and a huge first-mover advantage. Okay, so how do you navigate this? How do you actually turn that risk into a real opportunity? Well, you need a diagnostic tool, something clear, objective, and defensible that a chief risk officer can actually take to the board. And that tool is the 80% fairness rule. This whole rule is based on a metric called the Disparate Impact ratio. It sounds complicated, but it's really not. It's an industry standard, not something we just made up. All it does is compare the approval rate for your unprivileged group, in our case, applicants from the outer islands, against the approval rate for your privileged group, which is typically Java. Simple as that. And this is the magic number: 0.80, 80%. It's sometimes called the 4/5 rule. What it means is the success rate for the unprivileged group has to be at least 80% of the success rate for the privileged group. If you fall below that line, you've got a serious problem. And let me be perfectly clear, this isn't a suggestion. It's a non-negotiable threshold. If your model's DI ratio dips below 0.80, that's a massive red flag. It means you have to take immediate corrective action, whether that's retraining the model or putting a human review process in place. This is the standard you can confidently take to your board and to the regulators. All right, enough with the theory. Let's make this real. In an actual audit we saw, the loan approval rate for applicants from Java was a pretty healthy 85%. But when they looked at the exact same metric for applicants from the outer islands, that number just plummeted to 60%. You can already feel that something is wrong here. And this chart just lays it all out, plain as day. That green bar on the left, that's Java, sitting pretty at 85%. The red bar on the right, that's the outer islands, way down at 60%. And see that dashed line running across? That's our 80% fairness threshold.
The gap isn't just visible, it's a clear-cut failure of the model to treat all applicants equitably.
So when you do the actual math, you just divide the 60% rate by the 85% rate, you get a disparate impact ratio of 0.7059. That is significantly below the 0.80 minimum we just talked about. The verdict here is undeniable. Fail. This model is actively creating systemic regional bias. But finding a failure like this, that's not the end of the story. Not at all. In fact, it's the beginning of a whole new one. This is where we pivot. This is where we stop seeing this as a compliance headache and start seeing it as a powerful business case for real growth and profit. Look, fixing this bias isn't just about being good. It's about being smart. It becomes a real competitive advantage. First, you get massive market expansion, turning all those unfairly rejected applicants into a brand new revenue stream. Second, you achieve what we call legal uptime, creating a solid audit trail that will satisfy regulators like the OJK. And third, you build incredible institutional trust, signaling to investors and the public that you're a forward-thinking, responsibly run organization. So this brings it all right back to you, doesn't it? We've walked through the problem, the risk, the tool you can use to find it, and the huge opportunity on the other side. The only real question left is about your own operations and what kind of blind spots might be hiding inside your algorithms right now. I mean, think about it this way. You would never, ever dream of not auditing your company's finances, right? It's a fundamental duty. Well, in today's world, making sure your algorithms are fair and compliant is no different. It's just as critical. So the final question really is, when are you going to start?